Imagine you are sitting alone in your room, feeling overwhelmed by everything that has gone wrong. The weight of disappointment presses on your chest, and no matter how much you try to push it away, it lingers. You think about the past, about the mistakes, about the people who hurt you. You wonder if life will ever feel light again. Have you ever felt like nothing is going right, no matter how hard you try? Have you ever asked yourself why happiness seems so distant in the worst moments? Why is it that some people seem unshaken even in the most difficult situations, while others break down completely? Think about this. Two people lose their jobs on the same day. One falls into despair, blaming everything around them, while the other takes a deep breath, accepts the situation, and starts planning their next move. What makes the difference? Is happiness really about what happens to us, or is it about how we respond? Welcome to Wisdom Woven, where we explore the depths of ancient Buddhist teachings to transform the way we see life. If you are struggling to find happiness in difficult times, stay with us till the end. You will learn simple yet powerful insights that have guided people through suffering for thousands of years. And before we continue, let me remind you, there are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% subscribe. So please, like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. And most importantly, share your thoughts in the comments. We would love to hear from you. Happiness and suffering are not random. According to Buddhism, suffering has a cause, and once we understand that cause, we can break free. The Buddha taught that pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. What does that mean? It means that life will bring difficulties, but our minds decide how deeply we suffer. Most people believe happiness comes from outside, money, success, relationships, but Buddhism teaches that true happiness comes from within. When our minds are at peace, no external situation can disturb us. But when our minds are restless, even the best circumstances feel empty. One of the biggest reasons people suffer is attachment. We hold on too tightly, to people, to expectations, to outcomes. And when things don't go as we planned, we feel pain. But what if we learn to let go? What if we could flow with life instead of resisting it? Imagine standing in a river, trying to stop the water with your hands. The more you fight it, the more frustrated you become. But if you let go, the water flows effortlessly around you. Life is the same. The more we resist change, the more we suffer. But when we accept it, we find peace. Another key teaching is impermanence. Everything changes. No matter how bad things seem, they will pass. Nothing stays the same forever. Not joy, not sorrow. This realization alone can bring immense relief. Buddhism doesn't ask us to ignore our emotions. Instead, it teaches us to observe them without getting trapped in them. When sadness comes, instead of drowning in it, we can watch it like a passing cloud, knowing that it will soon drift away. Happiness in the worst situations comes from understanding that we are not our problems. We are not our suffering. We are the awareness behind it all. And when we realize this, no situation can take away our peace. In the next part, we will dive deeper into how detachment can help us break free from suffering. Stay with us because what's coming next will change the way you see pain forever. The art of detachment, letting go of pain. Sit down for a moment. Take a deep breath. Feel the air entering your lungs, filling your body with life. Now, ask yourself, how much pain do you carry that is no longer needed? How much suffering comes not from what is happening now, but from the past you refuse to release? Many people spend their lives holding on. They hold on to words spoken long ago, to mistakes that cannot be changed, to people who have already walked away. They relive the same painful memories over and over again, as if holding on will somehow undo the past. But has it ever helped? Has clinging to pain ever brought peace? Imagine you are carrying a heavy bag filled with stones. Each stone represents something, a regret, a betrayal, a fear. At first, the weight is manageable. You tell yourself you can handle it. But as time passes, the bag gets heavier. Your arms grow tired. Your back starts to ache. Still, you refuse to let go. Why? Because you believe that if you drop the bag, you will lose a part of yourself. But what if the opposite is true? What if letting go is the only way to find freedom? Buddhism teaches that suffering comes not from pain itself, but from attachment to pain. When we cling to something, an expectation, a person, an idea, we create suffering for ourselves. The tighter we hold on, the more we hurt. But the moment we release it, peace rushes in. Detachment does not mean indifference. It does not mean we stop caring. It means we stop gripping so tightly that we crush our own hearts. It means we learn to love, to experience, to feel, without needing to control or possess. Think about the sky. It does not hold on to the clouds. It lets them pass. Some days are clear, some are stormy, but the sky remains untouched. You are the same. Your thoughts, your emotions, your struggles, they come and go. You do not have to hold on to them. You do not have to become them. So how do we let go? First, we recognize that everything in life is temporary. Nothing stays forever. Not happiness, not pain, not even the people we love. The river keeps flowing, whether we fight it or not. When we accept this, we stop resisting change. Second, we shift our focus from what we have lost to what we still have. Pain narrows our vision. It makes us believe that life is only suffering. But if we look closely, we will see there is still warmth in the sun, there is still kindness in the world, there is still breath in our lungs. Even in the worst moments, there is something to be grateful for. Third, we practice awareness. Instead of drowning in emotions, we step back and observe them. When anger rises, we do not say, "I am angry." We say, "Anger is present." When sadness comes, we do not say, "I am sad." We say, "Sadness is here." This small change in language creates distance. It reminds us that emotions are visitors, not permanent residents. Letting go is not a one-time event. It is a practice. Some days, the weight feels light. Other days, it returns, heavier than before. That is okay. The goal is not to be perfect. The goal is to keep releasing, little by little, until one day, we realize we are free. Imagine standing at the edge of a river, holding a handful of sand. If you squeeze your fist, the sand slips through your fingers. But if you keep your palm open, the sand rests gently in your hand. Life is the same. The more we try to control it, the more it slips away. But when we surrender, when we trust, life flows effortlessly. Pain is real, but suffering is a choice. And every moment, you have the power to choose. Will you hold on, or will you let go? In the next part, we will explore how to find peace even in the middle of chaos. The world may shake, but your mind can remain still. Stay with us, because what comes next will change the way you see struggle forever. Cultivating inner peace amidst chaos. Sit with me for a moment. Breathe in deeply. Feel the air fill your lungs. Now let it out slowly. Listen to the sound around you. Perhaps there is silence. Perhaps there is noise. It does not matter. Just be here. Just for a moment, let everything else fade away. Life is like a storm. Some days, the sky is clear, the breeze is gentle, and the world feels kind. Other days, the winds howl, the rain pours, and everything seems to fall apart. But have you ever noticed? No matter how fierce the storm, the sky is still there, untouched, beyond the clouds. We live in a world of noise, of chaos. People rush from place to place, carrying worries like heavy stones in their minds. They run after things, fearing they will be left behind. They chase happiness, not knowing they already carry it within them. And so, they suffer. A person comes to me and says, "Master, my life is full of problems. My heart is restless. How do I find peace?" I smile and ask, "Where does the wind go when you stop chasing it?" The person looks at me, confused. I continue, "You do not need to run after peace. You only need to stop disturbing it. Do you understand? Peace is not something we find. It is something we return to. It is already within us, waiting beneath the storm of thoughts, fears, and worries. But to see it, we must learn to be still." There is a story of a man who lived by a lake. Every morning, he would go to the water and look at his reflection. But one day, a strong wind blew across the lake, and the water became restless. The man could not see himself clearly. He grew frustrated, waving his hands, shouting at the water to be still. But the more he disturbed it, the more the ripples spread. Tired, he finally sat down and took a deep breath. Slowly, the water calmed on its own, and his reflection became clear again. This is the mind. When we fight against life, when we struggle to control everything, we only create more ripples, more suffering. But when we learn to be still, to accept, to let things settle naturally, we see clearly. We see the peace that was always there. But how do we do this when the world is loud, when problems come from every direction, we begin with something simple. We learn to watch. Right now, close your eyes. Listen. What do you hear? Maybe distant voices. Maybe traffic. Maybe the soft hum of life itself. Do not judge it. Do not try to block it out. Just listen. And now, listen to your thoughts. Watch them come and go, like leaves floating down a river. You are not the thoughts. You are the one watching them. Many people believe peace comes from having no problems. But that is an illusion. There will always be problems. The real peace comes when problems no longer control you. Once, a young monk came to the Buddha and asked, "Master, I want to be happy. I want to be free from suffering. What must I do?" The Buddha smiled and said, "Let go." "Let go of what?" the monk asked. "Let go of the idea that life must always go your way. Let go of the thought that happiness depends on things outside of you. Let go of the fear of change. When you let go, you will see that peace was never missing. It was only covered by your attachments. The world will always move. People will come and go. Good times will pass, and so will bad times. But you, the observer, remain. And when you remember this, nothing can disturb you. So when chaos surrounds you, do not fight it. Do not run from it. Simply watch it, like a river flowing past. The river does not hold on to any drop of water. It simply lets it pass. You are not the storm. You are the sky. You are not the waves. You are the ocean. And when you remember this, true peace will be yours. The power of mindfulness in difficult times. Sit with me for a moment. Breathe in, feel the air fill your lungs. Breathe out, let everything go. Right now, in this moment, nothing else exists. No past, no future, just this breath. Can you feel it? This is mindfulness. And this, my dear one, is the key to peace in the worst of times. Pain is real. Suffering is real. But most of our suffering does not come from what is happening now. It comes from the stories our minds create. Think about it. When something bad happens, the mind does not just stay with the event. It runs wild. It remembers every mistake, every regret, every fear. It jumps to the future, creating endless what-ifs. What if I fail? What if I lose everything? What if nothing ever gets better? And suddenly, one problem becomes 1,000. But tell me, right now, in this moment, is that problem truly happening? Or is it just a thought? Most of the time, suffering is not in the present, it is in the mind. The Buddha taught this long ago. He said, "Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. A wise man is hit by an arrow and feels pain, but a foolish man is hit by two, one from the event and another from his mind's reaction. Which one are you?" Mindfulness is the practice of seeing only what is here, not what the mind imagines. It is the art of bringing your attention to this moment, fully, without judgment. When you are mindful, fear loses its power. Regret loses its grip. Anxiety fades like mist in the morning sun. Think about the last time you were truly present. Maybe it was watching a sunset, feeling the warmth of the sun on your skin. Maybe it was laughing with a friend, losing yourself in the joy of the moment. Maybe it was the quiet sound of rain, washing away everything else. In those moments, were you suffering? Or was the mind silent, at peace? Now, what if you could bring that presence to every moment, even the painful ones? What if, instead of drowning in worry, you simply noticed the breath? What if, instead of being lost in regret, you felt the ground beneath you, solid and steady? What if, instead of resisting the pain, you simply observed it, like a cloud passing in the sky? Mindfulness does not mean ignoring problems. It means seeing them clearly, without adding unnecessary suffering. It means experiencing life as it is, not as the mind fears it to be. And the best part? You don't need anything to practice it. You don't need money, or success, or the perfect life. You only need this moment, and your awareness of it. Take a moment now. Notice the sounds around you. Notice the feeling of your clothes against your skin. Notice your breath, steady and calm. This is mindfulness. This is freedom. Because no matter how bad things seem, in this moment, right now, you are still here. You are still breathing. And that means you have everything you need to find peace. Some people believe that happiness comes from changing the world around them. They think, if I just fix this problem, then I will be happy. But have you noticed? There is always another problem. Always something new to worry about. The real change happens inside. When you master your mind, the world outside loses its power over you. There is a story of a monk who was imprisoned. He was locked away, beaten, treated unfairly. Yet, when he was freed, he smiled. They asked him, "How can you be happy after what they did to you?" And he said, "They took my freedom, but they never took my mind." That is the power of mindfulness. No matter what happens outside, the inside remains untouched. So, the next time life feels unbearable, try this. Close your eyes. Breathe. Notice what is real, right now. Not the past, not the future, only this moment. And ask yourself, is there suffering here, or is it just my mind creating it? More often than not, you will find that the moment itself is peaceful. It is only the thoughts that cause chaos. And if pain is there, do not fight it. Fighting makes it worse. Instead, observe it. See it for what it is. Watch how it changes, how it rises and falls, never staying the same. Like a wave in the ocean, it comes and it goes. You are not the wave. You are the ocean itself, vast and unshaken. This is not just an idea. This is a practice. Every day, every moment, you have a choice. You can be lost in the mind, trapped in suffering, or you can come back to the present and find peace. It will not happen overnight. It takes patience, just like training a wild horse. But with time, the mind becomes still, and happiness becomes natural, even in the worst situations. So, the question is, will you try? Will you take this moment, right now, to breathe and be fully here? If you do, even for a second, you will see. It is in the present that happiness lives. And once you find it, nothing can take it away. The role of impermanence in overcoming suffering. Sit down. Breathe. Feel the air into your lungs, then leave. Notice how no breath stays. Each one comes and goes, like waves in the ocean. This is impermanence. Everything moves. Nothing stays. This truth is both terrifying and beautiful. People suffer because they believe things will last forever. They believe joy will stay forever. They believe pain will stay forever. But nothing in this world has ever stayed the same. Not the mountains, not the rivers, not even the stars in the sky. So why do we expect our happiness or suffering to be permanent? Think about the worst pain you have ever felt. At that moment, it felt endless, didn't it? It felt like it would never go away. But look at you now. It passed. You are here. The pain changed. Maybe it left completely. Maybe a part of it remains, but it is not the same as before. The moment you realize that all things pass, suffering begins to loosen its grip on you. A person who understands impermanence does not hold on too tightly to anything. When happiness comes, they enjoy it, but they do not cling to it. When sadness comes, they feel it, but they do not drown in it. They watch both come and go, just as they watch the sunrise and sunset. Many people fear change. They want life to remain exactly as it is when they are happy. But this is not possible. A flower blooms, then wilts. A river flows, then dries. A person is born, then grows old. Fighting change is like trying to stop the wind with your hands. No matter how much you try, it will move through your fingers. But impermanence is not something to fear. It is a gift. If nothing changed, there would be no new beginnings. The pain you feel today would never leave. The struggles you face would never end. Imagine a world where wounds never healed, where broken hearts stayed broken forever. That would be suffering. But because things change, you can heal. You can grow. You can start again. Many people say, "I want things to go back to how they were." They chase the past as if it is a place they can return to. But the past is like smoke. It slips through your fingers the moment you try to grasp it. What has passed cannot return. What is lost cannot be held. Clinging to the past only creates suffering. But do not mistake this truth. Understanding impermanence does not mean we stop caring. It does not mean we detach from life completely. It means we appreciate everything more deeply. When we know something will not last forever, we cherish it more. The moments of joy become precious. The love we share becomes more meaningful. Because we know, one day, it will be gone. Imagine holding a snowflake in your hand. If you try to grip it tightly, it melts instantly. But if you let it rest on your palm, it stays for a little while. That is how life works. The tighter we hold, the faster things slip away. But if we let go, we can experience life as it is, without fear, without resistance. Some people say, "I cannot be happy because I know this happiness will end." But this thinking is like refusing to enjoy a beautiful sunset because you know it will get dark soon. Should we not enjoy the moment simply because it will pass? The truth is, Knowing something will end makes it even more beautiful. A person who truly understands impermanence walks through life with light feet. They do not carry the heavy burden of attachment. They love fully but do not hold on. They experience joy but do not fear its end. They face pain but do not believe it will last forever. They flow with life, just as a leaf flows with the river, without fighting, without fear. Right now, whatever pain you are carrying, know this: it will pass. No matter how dark the night, morning always comes. No matter how strong the storm, it never lasts forever. The seasons change, the tides turn, the earth moves. Your suffering will not stay. The sadness you feel now will transform into something else. And when you realize this, you become free. Free from fear. Free from clinging. Free from the illusion that things will always stay the same. You do not fear loss, because you understand that loss is simply a part of life's movement. You do not fear endings, because you see that every ending is a new beginning. Let go. Let life flow. Do not hold too tightly. Do not resist. The more you embrace impermanence, the lighter you become. The more you let go, the more peace you will feel. Nothing is forever, and that is what makes every moment so valuable. Let me tell you something powerful, a secret that many overlook. If you want to find happiness, not just in easy times, but in the worst moments of your life, you must learn the art of compassion, not just for others, but for yourself as well. People think happiness is about getting what they want, about controlling life and making sure things go their way. But have you ever noticed that no matter how much you try, life refuses to listen? You can do everything right, yet problems still come. You can be kind, yet people still hurt you. You can work hard, yet success still feels out of reach. So, where is happiness? Happiness is not in control. It is in understanding. Understanding yourself, understanding others, understanding life itself. And at the heart of this understanding is compassion. Because without compassion, every problem feels personal. Every betrayal feels like a wound. Every failure feels like an end. But when you bring compassion into your heart, suddenly, everything changes. Let's say someone speaks harshly to you. Your first reaction? Anger, resentment, pain. But what if, instead of reacting, you paused? What if, instead of seeing them as an enemy, you asked yourself, why are they like this? Are they suffering? Are they carrying burdens you cannot see? What if their anger has nothing to do with you, but everything to do with their own struggles? Compassion allows you to see beyond yourself. It frees you from taking everything personally. It is like stepping outside a storm instead of getting caught in it. And when you do that, you realize something surprising. Most people are not trying to hurt you. They are simply lost in their own pain. But compassion is not just for others. It is for yourself too. Because in the worst moments, the hardest thing is not what others do to us. It is what we do to ourselves. We blame ourselves. We criticize ourselves. We carry guilt, regret, shame. We hold on to our mistakes as if punishing ourselves will somehow change the past. It won't. There is only one way forward. You must forgive yourself. You must let go of the harsh words you speak to yourself in silence. You must show yourself the same kindness you would show a suffering child. Because if you cannot be kind to yourself, no amount of kindness from others will ever be enough. Think of a small candle in a dark room. That is what compassion is. It doesn't remove the darkness, but it gives you light to see. It gives you warmth in the cold. It allows you to move forward without fear. When life is difficult, when everything feels against you, the mind will tell you to shut down. It will tell you to harden yourself, to build walls, to protect yourself by being cold. But what happens when you close your heart? The world doesn't feel safer. It only feels lonelier. Compassion is the opposite. It softens the walls you have built around your heart. It allows you to feel deeply without being broken by those feelings. It teaches you that pain is not an enemy, that suffering is not a punishment, that even in the hardest times, you are not alone. Because suffering is universal. No matter where you go, no matter who you meet, everyone is fighting a battle you cannot see. And when you realize this, something incredible happens. Your own suffering becomes lighter. Not because it disappears, but because you no longer carry it alone. This is why the Buddha taught compassion not as a weakness, but as a strength. A mind filled with anger and resentment is like a cup full of poison. It can never hold happiness. But a mind filled with compassion is like a river, ever flowing, ever refreshing, never stuck. So, ask yourself this. Who do you need to forgive? What burden have you carried for too long? Is it anger towards someone? Is it guilt over something you cannot change? Is it disappointment in yourself? Whatever it is, let it go. Not for them, but for you. Because happiness is not found in holding on. It is found in releasing. It is found in seeing pain for what it truly is, not a curse, but a teacher. A teacher that, if you listen closely, will show you the way to freedom. In the next part, we will explore how to change your perspective on pain itself. Because when you see suffering differently, it no longer has power over you. Stay with this journey. You are already walking the path to something greater. Reframing negative experiences through wisdom. Sit down, take a deep breath, and listen carefully. Life is not what you think it is. Your problems are not as big as they seem. The suffering you feel, it does not come from what happens to you. It comes from how you see it. If you change your way of seeing, the suffering will dissolve like mist in the morning sun. Imagine a man walking through a dark forest. He sees a snake on the path and freezes in terror. His heart races, his mind fills with fear. But when the sun rises and light spreads across the ground, he looks again. The snake was never a snake. It was just a rope. His fear was real, but the danger never existed. Your mind is like that. It sees problems where there are none. It turns small troubles into great misfortunes. It makes shadows seem like monsters. But if you bring light, if you bring wisdom, everything changes. The problem does not go away, but your suffering does. You might say, but my pain is real. My struggles are real. Yes, they are. But ask yourself, who suffers? Is it your body? No, it is the mind that suffers. It is the mind that turns pain into a storm, making it larger than life. But the mind can be trained, just like a wild horse can be tamed. Think about fire. If you touch it, it burns. That is its nature. But does fire burn because it hates you? No. Fire is just fire. In the same way, life brings challenges, not to punish you, but simply because that is its nature. The mistake people make is taking it personally. They believe life is against them, that the world is unfair. But life is neither for you nor against you. It just is. A wise person understands this. When trouble comes, he does not curse his fate. He does not sink into despair. He looks at the problem, accepts it, and asks, what can I learn from this? Because every problem is a teacher in disguise. Every difficulty holds a lesson. If you refuse to learn, you suffer. If you open your eyes, you grow. Think about a seed buried in the soil. It is covered in darkness, surrounded by pressure. But it does not complain. It does not resist. Instead, it uses the darkness to grow roots. It pushes upward through the soil. And one day, it breaks through the ground and feels the warmth of the sun. You are like that seed. The hardships in your life are not meant to destroy you. They are meant to strengthen you. But only if you understand this. If you resist, you will feel trapped. If you accept, you will grow. Some people say, I cannot help how I feel. But is that true? Look at a child. One moment, he cries because his toy is lost. The next moment, he laughs at a butterfly. His emotions change because his focus changes. You are the same. If you focus on pain, it grows. If you focus on wisdom, the pain shrinks. Nothing in life has meaning except the meaning you give it. A rainy day is just a rainy day. To one person, it is miserable. To another, it is beautiful. The rain is the same, but the experience is different. Why? Because of the mind. Now, take a moment. Think of a time when you suffered. Maybe someone hurt you. Maybe life felt unfair. Now, look at it again with new eyes. What did that experience teach you? Did it make you stronger? Did it show you who truly cares for you? Did it push you towards something better? Suffering is not suffering if it leads to wisdom. Pain is not pain if it wakes you up. Instead of asking, why did this happen to me? Ask, what can this teach me? The moment you do this, the weight lifts. The problem remains, but your suffering fades. A river does not resist the rocks in its path. It flows around them, over them, through them. That is why it never stops moving. Be like the river. Let problems come. Let them pass. Do not hold on to them. Do not fight them. Simply flow, and you will find peace. Life will never be free of difficulties. But if you train your mind, if you change your way of seeing, those difficulties will no longer break you. They will shape you. They will turn you into something stronger, wiser, freer. This is the path of wisdom. This is the way to true happiness. Finding strength in the present moment. You are looking for happiness, aren't you? searching for it in memories of the past or in the hopes of the future. But tell me, where are you right now? Not in the past, not in the future. You are here. This moment, right now, is all that exists. Yet, your mind drifts, restless, running away from the only place where peace can be found. Happiness is not something that waits for you at the end of your struggles. It is not hiding in some perfect future where everything is just right. It is not locked away in the days before your suffering began. It is here, always here, waiting for you to notice it. But your mind, tangled in worries, refuses to rest. You have been taught to fight your way through life, to resist pain, to resist discomfort, to resist what is. And in this constant battle, you have lost the ability to just be. You are so busy escaping suffering that you have never learned to sit with it, to understand it, to let it pass through you without breaking you. Imagine a storm passing through the sky. The wind howls, the trees bend, the rain falls violently. But high above, beyond the clouds, the sky is untouched. The storm will pass, but the sky remains. You are the sky. Your thoughts, your pain, your suffering, they are the passing storm. Yet, what do you do when suffering comes? You believe it is permanent. You believe it will never leave. You let the storm convince you that the sky is broken. But look deeper, and you will see. It is only passing through. Nothing, not even the worst pain, can stay forever. Look around you. Everything you see will change. The people you know, the places you visit, the things you own, none of them will last forever. And yet, you cling to them, terrified of losing them. You suffer not because things change, but because you expect them to stay the same. But what if you let go? What if you stop trying to control the uncontrollable? What if you simply surrendered to the flow of life? Wouldn't that be freedom? Close your eyes for a moment. Breathe in. Feel the air fill your lungs. Breathe out. Let go of everything, just for now. Do you feel that? That is life, happening right now. Not yesterday. Not tomorrow. Here. And for this brief moment, there is no suffering. Just being. Just peace. People chase happiness in 1,000 directions, never realizing that it is not a destination. It is not something to be earned or achieved. It is something that is already here, buried beneath the noise of your thoughts. Suffering comes from living anywhere but the present. You suffer when you relive the past, when you wish things had gone differently, when you carry regrets like heavy stones. You suffer when you live in the future, fearing what may come, imagining problems that do not yet exist. But the present? The present is simple. The present is free. The present does not ask you to fix anything, to change anything, to be anything other than what you are right now. It only asks you to be here. Sit with your pain, just for a moment. Do not push it away. Do not run from it. Feel it fully, and then ask yourself, what is this pain without my thoughts about it? Without the story I tell myself? Without the fear? Pain is just a sensation. It comes. It goes. It does not stay unless you hold on to it. The same is true for joy. The same is true for everything in life. Nothing stays. Everything moves. This is the nature of existence. So why suffer? Why spend your days fighting something that will pass on its own? Why lose yourself in memories and fears when life is happening right now, in this very breath? Come back to this moment. Right here. Right now. This is where peace lives. This is where strength is found. The past cannot hurt you anymore. The future does not exist yet. All that remains is now. And now is enough. Imagine walking through a dense fog, uncertain of what lies ahead. Your heart beats faster, your mind races with worst-case scenarios, and fear grips your entire being. This is what fear and anxiety feel like. A cloud that blinds you from the present moment, making you believe danger lurks in every shadow. But what if you could clear this fog? What if, instead of being trapped by fear, you could walk through life with ease, no matter how uncertain things seem? Fear and anxiety are not enemies. They are not punishments. They are only visitors, passing clouds in the vast sky of your mind. The mistake most people make is believing that fear is real, that it defines them, that they must fight it or run away. But running never works, and fighting only makes it stronger. The more you resist, the tighter fear grips you. The more you avoid, the bigger it grows. So what should you do? The answer is simple. Stop running. Stop fighting. Just see. Right now, take a deep breath. Feel the air moving in and out. Where is your fear in this exact moment? Not in the past, not in the future, right now. If you truly observe, you will notice something surprising. Fear is only a thought. It is not something you can hold in your hands. It is not something that can push you down. It is only a whisper in the mind, a ghost that has no body. But when you believe in it, when you let it take over, it becomes your master. The Buddha once said, "Fear does not prevent death, it prevents life." Look at your own life. How many moments have been lost to worrying about things that never happened? How many nights have been wasted replaying the same anxious thoughts? Fear takes your time, your energy, your peace, but only if you let it. What if, instead, you chose to be here? Not lost in thoughts of what might happen, but fully present, fully alive. Happiness is not found in avoiding fear. It is found in understanding it. See fear for what it is, a sensation, a feeling that arises and passes like a wave in the ocean. No wave stays forever. Some are big, some are small, but all eventually disappear. Fear is the same. When you stop fearing fear, it loses its power. It can knock on your door, but you no longer have to let it in. A man once came to the Buddha, troubled by his endless worries. "Master," he said, "I fear the future, the unknown, the possibility of suffering." The Buddha smiled and asked, "If a man is struck by an arrow, is it painful?" The man nodded. "Now, what if a second arrow strikes him in the same place? Is it even more painful?" The man agreed. "Then why?" the Buddha asked. "Do you shoot yourself with the second arrow of fear? The first arrow is pain, but the second is unnecessary suffering. The first is life, but the second is your own creation." Think about this deeply. Most of what you fear has not even happened. You are suffering from thoughts, not reality. The world outside may be uncertain, but your mind does not have to be. You have a choice, to be lost in fear or to be free. Which will you choose? One of the most powerful tools to overcome fear is observation. Not thinking about it, not analyzing it, just watching. The next time anxiety arises, do not label it, do not judge it. Simply sit with it. Feel where it is in your body. Is it in your chest? Your stomach? Your throat? Instead of panicking, just observe. Breathe. Let it be there. And then, like a wave returning to the sea, watch as it fades on its own. Fear feeds on attention. The more you feed it, the stronger it becomes. But when you stop reacting, stop giving it power, it begins to weaken. It is like a fire. If you stop adding wood, the flames will die on their own. Fear only stays as long as you hold on to it. Let go, and it will disappear. Imagine a bird flying high in the sky. It does not worry about where the wind will take it. It does not fear the storms ahead. It simply spreads its wings and moves with life. Be like that bird. Flow with the moment, trust the path, and know that you are stronger than you think. The worst situations do not break you. They reveal you. They show you the strength that was always within. Look back at your life. Every challenge, every hardship, you have survived them all. The things you once feared, the pain you thought would never end, where are they now? Gone. Past. Like clouds in the sky. So, the next time fear whispers in your ear, do not push it away, do not obey it. Simply smile and say, "I see you." And then, return to this moment. Return to your breath, your step, your life. No fear, no doubt, only peace. Ah, my friend, come closer and listen. Let me tell you something that most people overlook. Life, this fleeting, unpredictable dance, has one hidden key to happiness. And that key is simplicity. But simplicity is not just about having fewer things or doing less. It is about seeing clearly, living fully, and understanding deeply. Think about a river. The river does not struggle to flow. It moves effortlessly. It does not hold on to rocks. It glides over them. It does not complain when the path is rough. It simply continues. This is simplicity. It is not about resistance, but about allowing. It is not about control, but about harmony. And if you can learn this way of being, you will discover a happiness that no storm can shake. Why do people suffer so much? Because they complicate everything. They think too much. They worry too much. They chase too many things. They collect burdens as if they are treasures, and then they wonder why they feel so heavy. But look at a child. A child laughs at the smallest things, finds joy in the simplest moments, and sleeps peacefully without worrying about tomorrow. This is wisdom hidden in innocence. A simple heart is a joyful heart. Many believe that happiness comes from achievement, wealth, or recognition. But these things are like clouds. They change, they disappear, they are never truly yours. True happiness is like the sky, vast, open, and untouched. You do not need to own the clouds to enjoy the sky. You do not need to hold on to everything to feel complete. Let go of what does not serve you, and you will feel lighter than ever before. Have you ever noticed how the most peaceful moments in life are often the simplest? Sitting under a tree, feeling the wind on your face, sharing a quiet moment with someone you love. There is no effort in these moments, yet they fill the heart more than any grand achievement. But people forget this. They chase after complicated things, believing that happiness is somewhere ahead of them. It is not ahead. It is here. It is now. It is in the simplicity of this moment. When the Buddha sat under the Bodhi tree, he did not have wealth. He did not have power. He did not have anything except awareness. And yet, in that simplicity, he discovered the deepest truth of existence. This should tell you something. Happiness is not about what you have. It is about what you understand. It is about how deeply you see. It is about how lightly you walk. Imagine carrying a heavy bag everywhere you go. At first, you might not notice it much. But as time passes, your back aches, your feet hurt, and the journey becomes difficult. Now imagine setting that bag down. Suddenly, you feel free. The road feels easy. Life is the same. We carry unnecessary weight, resentments, fears, expectations, attachments. But what if you could put them down? What if you could walk lightly? Would that not be happiness? There is a Zen saying, when walking, walk. When eating, eat. This may seem too simple, but within it is the secret to a peaceful mind. Most people eat while thinking about work. They walk while thinking about the past. They do one thing, but their mind is somewhere else. And so, they are never truly here. They are never truly alive. Simplicity means doing one thing at a time, fully, completely, without distraction. It means tasting life instead of rushing through it. In difficult times, people complicate things even more. They overthink, they resist, they fight against reality. But a wise person does the opposite. He simplifies. He lets go of what he cannot control. He focuses only on what is needed. He does not carry unnecessary thoughts. And because of this, he remains peaceful even in chaos. Look at nature. A tree does not try to impress anyone. A river does not compare itself to other rivers. A flower does not wish to be something else. And yet, they are all perfect as they are. Human beings, however, complicate their existence by trying to be something they are not. They measure their worth by external things. But the one who simplifies his life, who is content with who he is, who does not chase but simply lives, this person knows true happiness. Simplicity does not mean giving up everything. It means knowing what truly matters. It means keeping your heart clear and your mind light. It means not allowing the unnecessary to steal your peace. It means understanding that you do not need much to be happy. Just awareness, just presence, just gratitude. If you want to be happy in the worst situations, stop fighting with life. Accept, adapt, and simplify. Let go of the idea that happiness is something you must chase. It is not. It is already here, waiting for you to notice it. But to see it, you must clear away the noise, the clutter, the complications. Remember, happiness is not in the next thing you achieve or the next place you go. It is in how deeply you experience this moment. It is in how simply you live. The more you simplify, the more you will see that happiness was never missing. It was just hidden beneath the weight of unnecessary things. The wise do not search for happiness. They remove the things that block it. So, ask yourself, what can you let go of? What can you simplify? What burdens are you carrying that you do not need? When you answer these questions, you will find that happiness is not something you need to seek. It is something that appears the moment you stop complicating life. Now breathe. Feel this moment. No need to think of yesterday. No need to worry about tomorrow. Right now, in this simple moment, you are alive. And that is enough. That is happiness. Imagine a man walking through a storm. The wind howls, the rain lashes against his skin, and the cold bites into his bones. He has two choices. He can curse the storm, fight against it, resist its force, or he can accept it, adjust his steps, and move forward. The storm does not listen to his complaints, but it also does not last forever. This is how suffering works. When pain arrives, we can either resist and exhaust ourselves or embrace the lesson it carries and walk through it with wisdom. Pain is not our enemy. It is a teacher. Every hardship, every heartbreak, every moment of despair carries a lesson waiting to be understood. A man who sees suffering as a curse will always feel trapped, but the one who sees it as a lesson will always grow. This is the secret. Pain is not something to run from. It is something to transform. Like fire that can burn or forge, suffering can destroy a weak mind or shape a strong soul. Many people believe happiness comes when life is easy, but this is not true. True happiness is found when you learn to face suffering without breaking. It is not about avoiding storms. It is about dancing in the rain. A wise person understands that hardships are not punishments, but opportunities. Opportunities to grow, to strengthen, to become something greater than before. The question is not, why is this happening to me? But rather, what is this trying to teach me? Buddha once said, no mud, no lotus. The most beautiful lotus flower only blooms in the dirtiest, darkest waters. It does not complain about the mud, it uses it to grow. In the same way, the greatest wisdom, the deepest peace, the strongest happiness are born from life's challenges. Without struggles, there is no strength. Without sadness, there is no understanding of joy. Without suffering, there is no wisdom. Think about a blacksmith. He takes raw iron, puts it into fire, beats it with a hammer, and repeats this again and again. The process is painful, but in the end, that iron becomes a strong, unbreakable sword. Life is the blacksmith. We are the iron. The fire is our suffering, and the hammer is our challenges. But if we endure, if we allow ourselves to be shaped, we emerge stronger than before. Many people fear suffering because they believe it will break them. But suffering only breaks what is weak inside you. The illusions, the attachments, the false expectations. It burns away what is unnecessary and leaves behind only what is real. This is why the wise embrace pain. They do not run from it. They do not hate it. They use it. Happiness does not come from avoiding pain, but from understanding it. A person who truly understands suffering no longer fears it. They see it as a wave in the ocean, not something to fight against, but something to ride. They know that just like a wave, it will rise and it will fall, and they will remain standing. This is the path to peace, not resistance, but acceptance. Many people spend their whole lives running from suffering, but in doing so, they only find more suffering. They avoid discomfort, so they never grow. They resist change, so they stay stuck. They hold on to things that no longer serve them, so they remain in pain. But the one who stops running, who turns to face their suffering with wisdom, finds something extraordinary, freedom. Imagine a man carrying a heavy stone on his back. He has been carrying it for years, and his body aches under its weight. He complains, he suffers, he struggles. But then one day, he realizes something. The stone was never tied to him. He was holding it all along. And in that moment, he simply lets it go. Suddenly, he is free. This is how transformation happens. The pain we carry, the suffering we endure, it is often because we refuse to let go. Letting go does not mean giving up. It means freeing yourself from the illusion that you must suffer. It means understanding that pain will come and go, but it does not define you. You are not your suffering. You are the one who experiences it, learns from it, and moves beyond it. Many people search for happiness as if it is something to be found. But happiness is not something outside of you. It is a skill, a practice, a state of mind. And just like any skill, it must be trained, especially in times of difficulty. Every challenge is an opportunity to train your mind. Every hardship is a chance to practice peace. The more you practice, the stronger your happiness becomes, until one day, no suffering can shake you. A tree with deep roots does not fear the storm. A mind that understands suffering does not fear hardship. When you stop fearing pain, you stop suffering. When you stop resisting life, you start living. This is the way. Buddha did not escape suffering. He mastered it. He saw it, understood it, and went beyond it. This is the path for all who seek true happiness. Not to run from pain, not to hate it, but to use it as a tool for growth. To let it shape you, strengthen you, and transform you into something greater than before. If you are going through suffering now, remember this. It is not here to break you. It is here to shape you. Do not fear the fire. Become stronger because of it. Do not resist the storm. Learn to walk through it. Do not curse the darkness. Use it to find your own light. Because in the end, Happiness is not found in avoiding the worst situations. It is found in transforming them. Sit down, my friend. Take a deep breath. Feel the air moving in and out. Do you see? This moment, right here, is all that exists. Everything else, the worries, the pain, the regrets, the fears, is just a story playing in the mind. But you are not the story. You are the awareness behind it. And once you see this, happiness is no longer something you chase. It is something you are. All your life, you have been told that happiness is found somewhere outside. In success, in relationships, in wealth, in approval. But look at where that has led you. Has it ever been enough? Or has it always been one more thing, one more goal, one more reason to keep running? The truth is simple. Happiness is not out there. It is within you, waiting to be uncovered. Imagine standing in the middle of a storm. The winds are strong, the rain is relentless, and yet, deep inside, there is a quiet, still space untouched by it all. That space is within you. It has always been there, but you have been too busy fighting the storm to notice it. Now stop fighting. Let the storm do what it must. You, my friend, remain still. Do not be fooled. Happiness does not mean life is without problems. It does not mean you will never feel pain. But when you understand that pain is just another passing wave in the ocean of your being, it loses its power to shake you. You watch it come. You watch it go. But you no longer drown in it. People will hurt you. Circumstances will test you. There will be days when nothing seems to go right. But even then, even in the worst of times, happiness is possible. Because happiness is not about what happens. It is about how you see it. The same fire that burns can also bring warmth. The same darkness that frightens can also give rest. Change the way you see, and everything changes. Do not carry the past like a heavy rock on your back. It is gone. Do not stretch yourself toward the future like a thirsty man chasing a mirage. It has not come. Stay here. Now, feel your breath. Feel your presence. This is where peace is. This is where joy is. The mind will resist. It will say, but what about my problems? What about my worries? Smile at it. Let it talk. But do not take it so seriously. You think you need control to be happy. That if life just went according to your plans, then all would be well. But has life ever truly obeyed your wishes? The more you cling, the more you suffer. The more you let go, the more you flow. Stop gripping life so tightly. Open your hands. Let go of the illusion of control, and you will taste freedom. There will be moments of loneliness, moments of doubt, moments when you feel lost. But do not fear them. They are teachers in disguise. Loneliness teaches you that you are complete within yourself. Doubt teaches you to look deeper for truth. Feeling lost? That only means you are shedding an old version of yourself, making way for something new. You might ask, but what if I fail? What if I lose everything? Then, my friend, you begin again. Life is not about winning or losing. It is about experiencing. Every moment, every rise and fall, is part of the dance. Do not be afraid of falling. The ground is always there to catch you. Look at a tree. It does not resist the seasons. It does not complain when the leaves fall, nor does it cling to them when it is time to let go. It simply allows. Learn from the tree. Let life move through you without resistance. You will find that the less you fight, the lighter you become. The secret to unshakable happiness is this. Stop waiting for life to be perfect. Stop demanding that it go your way. Stop believing that something is missing. Nothing is missing. Happiness is not something you find. It is something you remember. And when you remember, nothing can take it away from you. It does not matter what storm rages outside. Your peace is within. It does not matter who comes and goes. Your completeness is within. It does not matter what you gain or lose. Your joy is within. The world can change, but this truth does not. Now, take another deep breath. Feel the air fill your lungs. Feel your heart beating. This moment, it is enough. You are enough. No more searching. No more waiting. Just be. And in this being, you will know, this is happiness. This is the end, and yet, it is the beginning. The path is yours now. Walk it lightly, walk it freely, walk it with joy. And remember, no matter what happens, no matter how dark the night or how strong the storm, happiness is always here, right where you are. If these words have touched you, if they have made you pause, even for a moment, then let them live within you. Carry them not as knowledge, but as truth, felt deeply in your bones. Share them, if you wish. And if you have found value in this journey, then let others walk it too. This is wisdom woven. Thank you for walking this path with me. If this has helped you in any way, like this video, share it with those who may need it, and subscribe for more. Your presence here matters. Until we meet again, be happy, be free, be at peace. Sit quietly for a moment. Feel the weight of these words sink into you. Life is not about avoiding hardship. It is about finding peace in the middle of it. Happiness is not something you wait for, not something life must give you, not something that appears when everything is perfect. It is something you choose, right here, right now. Regardless of the chaos, the loss, the uncertainty, you can be at peace. But to do that, you must first realize a simple truth. Suffering is optional. Pain happens, yes. But suffering? That is the mind's resistance to pain. That is the attachment to how things should be rather than accepting them as they are. Drop that resistance, and you drop the suffering. Think about the worst moments of your life. The days that broke you. The nights that left you breathless. The moments you thought you would never recover from. And yet, here you are. You survived. The pain came, but it did not last. The storm passed. And the truth is, no matter what you face next, it too will pass. But you do not have to wait for suffering to leave before you find peace. You can meet it with open hands, embrace it without fear, and let it move through you like the wind through the trees. That is what true happiness is, standing in the middle of the storm and knowing, deep in your soul, that you are untouchable. Most people think happiness is something they need to earn, that if they just work hard enough, if they fix all their problems, if they achieve enough, then they will finally be happy. But that is a lie. Happiness is not something you get after life stops being difficult. It is something you cultivate while life is difficult. The Buddha taught that clinging is the root of suffering. Clinging to outcomes, clinging to people, clinging to expectations. The moment you stop clinging, you become free. And in that freedom, happiness arises naturally. Look around you. How much of your unhappiness comes from wishing things were different? How much peace could you have if you simply accepted life as it is? This is not the same as giving up. It is not the same as being passive. It is simply understanding that life moves in ways beyond your control, and your power lies not in fighting it, but in flowing with it. The ocean does not resist the waves. It does not fear the tide. It simply allows. You must do the same. There will be moments when everything feels overwhelming, when the weight of the world presses down on you so hard you cannot breathe. In those moments, remember this. Happiness is not about never feeling pain. It is about knowing that pain is not permanent. It is about sitting with your suffering, seeing it clearly, and realizing that it does not define you. You are not your sadness. You are not your failures. You are not your mistakes. You are something far greater, something vast, unshaken, eternal. What if, instead of trying to escape suffering, you welcomed it? What if, instead of fearing pain, you sat with it like an old friend? Pain has something to teach you. Every hardship carries wisdom. Every loss reveals a deeper truth. But you cannot learn from suffering if you are always running from it. Sit still. Listen. Let it speak to you. You may be surprised at what it has to say. Everything in life is temporary. The good, the bad, the joy, the sorrow. Nothing stays. Nothing belongs to you. The moment you grasp this truth, not just with your mind, but with your heart, you will be free. Free from the fear of loss. Free from the weight of expectation. Free from the illusion that something is missing. Because the truth is, nothing is missing. You are whole all along. People will come and go. Some will love you. Some will leave you. Some will break you. That is the nature of life. Do not let your happiness depend on others. The Buddha said, "No one saves us but ourselves." You cannot wait for someone else to make you happy. You cannot wait for life to fix itself. If you keep waiting, you will wait forever. Happiness is a path you must walk alone, and the moment you take the first step, you will realize you were never alone to begin with. Let go of the idea that happiness looks a certain way, that it means a perfect life, a perfect job, a perfect love. Happiness is not something outside of you. It is a state of being. It is a deep, unwavering contentment that comes from within. You can have nothing and be happy. You can have everything and still suffer. The difference is in your mind, in your perspective, in your ability to see that nothing outside of you has the power to take away what is already inside you. Ask yourself this. If today were your last day, would you spend it worrying? Would you waste it regretting the past, fearing the future, chasing things that do not truly matter? Or would you breathe deeply, love fiercely, live fully? Because one day, your time will run out. And on that day, will you wish you had spent more time searching for happiness? Or will you smile, knowing you found it right where it had been all along? You have searched long enough. You have fought long enough. You have suffered long enough. The time has come to lay it all down, to release the need to control, to let go of everything that is keeping you from peace. The moment you do, you will see, happiness was never far away. It was only waiting for you to stop searching. Now, take a deep breath. Let the air fill your lungs. Let the stillness settle in your heart. This is the moment. Right here. Right now. This is happiness. Not tomorrow. Not when things are better. But now. The journey ends here, but your path is just beginning. Walk it lightly. Walk it freely. Walk it with joy. And when you find happiness, do not keep it to yourself. Share it. Spread it. Let it flow to others. Because happiness is not something to hold. It is something to give. And in giving, it only grows. This is wisdom woven. If this journey has meant something to you, if these words have touched your heart, then let them live inside you. Let them shape you. Let them change the way you see the world. If this message has brought you value, then share it. Like this video. Subscribe. Help others find the path you have found. But most importantly, live these words. Do not just listen, become them. Until we meet again, stay free, stay at peace, and most of all, stay happy.